number 15 UCLA on the road to take on the number 1 team in the nation, the South Carolina Gamecocks. And the big question coming in, would we see Aaliyah Boston for South Carolina? Let's take you back to 2 days ago when the Gamecocks were taking on Hampton on Sunday. This was in the second quarter, and Aaliyah Boston, underneath the basket, goes down with an injury. Now, she would get up and walk, but came out of the locker room wearing a boot and did not return to the game. The great news, though, for Gamecock fans is that the reigning National Player of the Year looked great in shoot-around today, and we will see her on the floor for South Carolina tonight. Always a great environment in Columbia. The fans are in attendance, as they call them, to see a top 15 battle. Let's go. How about this matchup? Courtney Lyle alongside Women's Basketball Hall of Fame inductee Carolyn Peck. And wow, you look at both of these teams, very exciting. And I know Gamecock fans are excited to see Aaliyah Boston.
Yeah, everybody kind of broke a little sweat when Aaliyah Boston went down, but having her back, I mean, she's a center part of this South Carolina offense. But there's a matchup that I'm looking forward to, and that is in the guard spot. You've got Charisma Osborne of UCLA and Zia Cook for South Carolina. Now, when you talk about Osborne, this is a player that's averaging 20 points a game. She is able to find her spots and get her shots anytime she wants. She leads UCLA in scoring, in rebounding, and getting to the free throw line. But when it comes to Zia Cook, she has increased her efficiency. Yeah, her points are better, but Don Staley told us this morning, it ain't just about her scoring, it's the other things she does. She's defending, and these two are going to be matched up a lot of the time tonight.
Yeah, that's taken some of the pressure off of Zia Cook and her offense, so she's blossoming. And don't forget, too, Aaliyah Boston, Charisma Osborne, they are both projected to be top 5 picks in the WNBA draft, so there's a few scouts in the building tonight.
Absolutely, and Zia Cook, as she continues to play this season, she's playing her way up the draft board. I think when GMs and coaches in the WNBA see where Zia Cook can impact the game on both sides of the floor, I think that's going to make her stock really rise.
You know, South Carolina has a lot of talent. Those are 2 of those players, and they'll be challenging the UCLA Bruins tonight. You see the projected top 5 picks, and how fun is it that we get to see 2 of those tonight?
You look at that just roster, a lot of talent in itself. 2 players from the SEC with Rickea Jackson. Like I said, Zia Cook, you're going to see her name. I think she's going to hear her name called in that first round.
Here comes Sandstorm inside Colonial Life Arena, the 3rd ranked opponent of the season for the Gamecocks. Look, Carolyn, this UCLA team comes in to take on South Carolina. They won the battle for Atlanta's championship. They've got some experience with Osborne. They've got a lot of youth, too.
They have gotten the #1 recruiting class, 5 freshmen, and they have come in with great maturity and made major impacts. They've got 2, especially. You've got Kiki Rice, #1, that's in the starting lineup.
And she will immediately get the basketball thanks to Cameron Brown winning the tip. I know you got to see this UCLA team last week. What stood out to you about the Bruins?
They are so steady and together. And this one right here, Cameron Brown, I am so impressed with her. She is like a coach on the floor. She brings the energy, that second effort.
Kiki Rice called for the travel. Look, you're going to see UCLA's #1 a lot, the Gatorade National Player of the Year. Her first taste of facing the #1 team in the nation. You see South Carolina's starting 5. What a luxury for the Gamecocks to return 4 starters from last year's national championship winning team.
You've got Bree Bill and Zia Cook, 2 that have started probably every game since they've been in a South Carolina uniform. So they came in with a lot of talent, a lot of expectations, and they have delivered on those expectations because they've had the ability to go to 2 Final Fours and they've won a national championship.
UCLA starting 5. They're so glad to have Conti back in the lineup. She was out last year with an ACL injury, and that forced Charisma Osborne to run the point more.
And Corey Close so happy to have Conti back so that Osborne can be in that scoring spot. And really 2 options at the point guard position, and one of those is Kiki Rice.
Kiki Rice with the mid-range game and puts UCLA on the board first. When it comes to the point guard position, that's been the question mark for South Carolina because they lose Destiny Henderson to the WNBA. So you see Kira Fletcher. She's been starting her 5th game in a row at the point. There she goes with the mid-range game. Up and in for Fletcher. Gina Conti setting it up for the Bruins, number 10 in that blue jersey. Conti back to Rice, still swinging around.
Bree Beal has the assignment to guard Charisma Osborne.
That's not a surprise, right?
Well, I thought that it might be Zia Cook.
We may see both. Dawn Staley, another outstanding team already. And look, she tests her team early. They've already played number 2 Stanford. That was one of the best games I have watched in a long time. It went to overtime, the number 1 and number 2 team in the nation, and South Carolina got it done.
Well, South Carolina dug themselves a hole and had to fight and battle back. And those are the kind of games you want your team in, tested, and come out with a win. See how far out UCLA is playing off. They're forcing the outside shot.
Zia Cook says thank you.
Well, and her efficiency is up because she's not really rushing shots. She's not feeling the pressure of having to make shots, but when her opportunities are there, she's knocking them down.
And her percentage is up from last year. Conti tries to save it before she goes out of bounds, and that goes over and back call on UCLA. Zia had plenty of room.
Well, UCLA is playing so far off. You look at how far back off Kira Fletcher, and then the late rotation over to Zia Cook. That's been a question mark. We talked about whether or not who was going to run the point for South Carolina. The other thing was, can South Carolina make enough shots on the perimeter? They had to prove that in the national championship game last year, and they had Destiny Henderson. Henny was that guaranteed money from the 3-point line. Now, who is it going to be this year? Zia Cook shooting it well. Even Bree Beal, she's made 7 threes on the season.
UCLA subs in Lena Zontak, one of their freshmen out of Germany. She's number 21 in blue. Conti looking for a lane, and it got crowded. Look, Corey Close is coming off a season. They had all kinds of injuries. They had cancellations due to COVID, but now they've got the number 1 recruiting class coming in, and she has so much young talent. But the message in shoot-around today, work on your championship habits.
They look at this game as an opportunity to make another step toward being better and being ready to go after a championship.
Zia Cook misses. That'll be UCLA basketball.
You were talking about UCLA and all of the adversity last season, the injuries, had to forfeit because of COVID. They still were 18-13 and made it to the finals, the semifinals of the WNIT. So Corey Close never got down and said, listen, it's over. It's just going to be too tough. They continue to compete.
Yeah, they've won 7 of their last 9 games. Charisma Osborne was 3rd in the Pac-12 in scoring. And as we mentioned, now she can go back to her more natural position, that shooting guard, because Conti is back. Conti working on Raven Johnson, who has checked in for South Carolina. London Jones driving, and she's fouled. That's on Bree Beal. It'll be her first.
Watching the matchup, Victoria Saxton and Lena Zintok, who is a freshman but she is about 6'3". She can play inside and out. Very mature on the floor. That's the other one of the impact freshmen playing for UCLA.
Yeah, talking about number 21 in blue. Kiki Rice looking, and there's going to be an offensive foul. And it's on Sonntag.
European style of basketball right now, and Sonntag sets that screen. She extends the arm just a little bit. The officials see that and call the foul.
It's been a cold start for both of these teams offensively. UCLA and South Carolina both shooting 33% from the field. Raven Johnson now in to run the point. We'll see both her and Fletcher run the point for South Carolina.
UCLA just going to a man-to-man, more out this time. Got away from that sagging defense.
Osborne handling it, gets herself a layup but misses.
How much is South Carolina's length? They are just shot blocking fools. I'm going to tell you, you don't want to go inside against the Gamecocks.
Yeah, South Carolina has 3 of the top 10 shot blockers in the SEC on their roster. London Jones with the pull-up from the elbow.
That's another freshman right there, has no fear. And talk about somebody that hunts buckets. Number 3 for UCLA.
Yeah, she's coming off a season-high 16 points where she was 3 for 7 from three-point range in UCLA's win over Jackson State. Cook directing traffic. Boston pushed way outside by Bessoir. Raven Johnson tried to jump it off to Victoria Saxton underneath. And Saxton just pounded her way inside.
Victoria Saxton came back for that 5th year to do what she needs to do to get ready to go to the next level.
Bessoir, the kick out to Osborne. Bree Hall gets caught up in the screen. Bessoir off to the right on the 3, and Raven Johnson pushes up ahead to Bree Hall on the layup.
South Carolina's getting the answer to the question of point guard. They've got good options between Kiera Fletcher and Raven Johnson.
You like going back and forth?
I do. They keep fresh on the floor, 2 different style point guards.
Ooh, Kiki Rice. Hall just short on the layup.
Yeah, keep an eye on Kiki Rice.
It's just layup after layup.
Doc Staley's not going to be happy about that, getting back transition defense, because UCLA wants to run.
South Carolina will take its time. Raven Johnson setting things up. Here's Bree Hall. Trio of subs for both teams waiting at the table. They throw it inside to Aaliyah Boston.
And South Carolina overloaded it to give Boston room to work down low, but she's not able to get the shot.
Aaliyah Boston has it. That's her first shot right there. Hey, when we come back, we will get to know Charisma Osborne a little bit better, projected to be a top 5 pick in the WNBA draft. Well, Charisma Osborne, one of the seniors for UCLA. Corey Close calls her the most complete guard in college because she can score. She can also defend. She leads this team in points per game, rebounds per game, made threes, and also field goal percentage. And we wanted to get to know her a little bit better, so we set her down with our own Carolyn Peck.
I'm here with shooting guard Charisma Osborne. And Charisma, when I ask you a few questions, get to know you. You've got a #1 recruiting class of freshmen. Who's the goofiest freshman?
Christine.
Who's the best dancer on the team?
Me, obviously.
Yeah. I know you like movies. What's your favorite movie?
White Chicks.
White Chicks. Why?
It's just so funny. I've watched it a million times.
Where's your favorite spot to shoot on the floor?
Top of the key.
Top of the key. That's money for you right
Yes.
there. Tonight you're going to play in front of 18,000 people. What's that going to be like?
It's going to be so fun. Like, it's going to be a lot of energy, a lot of loudness going on, so I think our team's just really excited for that.
What's your biggest goal for this season?
To win a championship.
How's that going to be done?
Hard work, being committed to the process.
Thank you, Charisma. Charisma Osborne, shooting guard, UCLA.
Peck, when we talk about being pro-ready, what do you see in Charisma's game that makes her pro-ready?
One of the biggest things is her physical fitness. She is so strong. She can go through and finish through contact. She also, I don't see her get rattled. When teams throw all kinds of defenses at her, it doesn't bother her. She just is very calculating in how she finds where and when, whether she's going to score or whether she's going to set her teammates up.
UCLA opening this game shooting 50% from the field. South Carolina shooting 33. The Gamecocks with a 1-point lead, and a different lineup for South Carolina here. They bring in Camila Cardoso. Letitia Mihir also in the game. Cameron Brown feeding Osborne, cutting to the rack. Johnson up ahead to Beal. There's going to be a foul underneath. It'll be on Cameron Brown.
Corey Close does a terrific job with her team executing out of the timeout. The flare screen on the backside. Osborne reads it, cuts to the basket, and Cameron Brown found it from the top.
Raven Johnson has to hustle for it. UCLA on a 6-0 run. Gamecocks trying to stop that with a bigger lineup. They throw it up to Cardoso, but it's taken away by Conti. Bucket in by Gabriela Jaquez.
Jaquez comes in the game, and she is that instant spark for UCLA. That's another freshman in blue.
8-0 run for the Bruins. Zaya Cook waiting to check in for South Carolina. We'll swing it to Bree Beal in the corner.
It is so hard sometimes playing against the zone, especially when the zone's playing back off of you. You start thinking instead of playing. And just moving the basketball around the perimeter seems like it should be pretty simple. There's no reason to have an unforced turnover that way. But when you're thinking too much instead of playing naturally, those kind of things happen.
Zaya Cook now in for the Gamecocks. Conti going up, and Letitia Mihir on the defense.
UCLA is seeing opportunities. You see Charisma Osborne was going to set a screen and then stepped out of the way. So then Letitia Mihir is late, thinking she's going to chase on a screen, and there was no screen to be found.
Well, Mihir almost had it, and then Conti started battling her for it. Excuse me, Jaquez.
UCLA out rebounding South Carolina now +4.
And South Carolina is the #2 rebounding team in the nation. Aaliyah Boston back in the game. If you're just joining us, she was injured on Sunday, did not play in the second half against Hampton, but is active and ready to go today. So now Letitia Mihir running the point. South Carolina hasn't scored in over 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Boston. Back to Zaya Cook for the long three. Second chance for the Gamecocks. Aaliyah Boston only has one shot attempt in this first quarter.
When UCLA in a diamond zone,
we're forcing South Carolina to take those outside shots.
oh, that's a good look inside. Aaliyah Boston with the recognition, knowing Camila Cardoso's got great length inside, so when she had to go get an out-of-area rebound, look back to the rim and found Cardoso.
Look, Boston's a great scorer, a great rebounder. She's also a great passer.
That was one of the things Don Staley said she wanted Aaliyah Boston to get better with this year. I thought she was pretty good at it already, but just recognizing how to create opportunities for everybody else. Normally she's the one that's getting all the passes.
Kiki Rice with the bucket makes it a 3-point lead for UCLA. That three short from Bree Beal.
UCLA could go 2 for 1.
Bessoir battling Cardoso. They give it up to Kiki Rice at the elbow. Bessoir gets her shot blocked, but finishes on the second attempt. UCLA has had a lot of success in the paint. They're outscoring the Gamecocks 14-6 inside.
Now South Carolina's gonna need to they need to score a bucket right now to close this quarter. UCLA has been in control the entire first quarter.
Here goes Zaya Cook working. Scores over 3 defenders. And South Carolina needed that bucket. UCLA on a 12-4 run. When we come back, we look back at a 2022 national championship, a second national championship banner in the rafters for the Gamecocks. Well, last year, South Carolina had an unbelievable season, winning their second title, both coming under Dawn Staley, 11 straight 21 seasons. They've had 5 30-win seasons out of the last 8, and even more impressive, they've been to 4 of the last 7 Final Fours. And Dawn Staley said at the beginning of the season she felt like this team for South Carolina could be better than last year.
She felt that way because the players that have worked in the offseason and the additions that have come in can help them. What did they want to do? They wanted to move the ball better. They wanted to improve their field goal percentage and shooting from the 3. And I believe that with the work that the players have put in this season, they are very capable of doing that.
Well, UCLA on a 12-4 run. How has their defense affected South Carolina's offense?
The defense is a zone that is packed in the paint, and what the defense has done against that zone, South Carolina started to stay in. South Carolina moves a lot better when they're playing against a man-to-man.
Boston's first points.
She's been so impressive this year. Not only does she go get rebounds, but she snatches the ball out of the air.
She was questionable coming into tonight's game, but fully active. And Letitia Mihir using that longest wingspan on the team for the steal. Maybe a little transition is what South Carolina needed.
And a bigger athletic lineup right now with Letitia Mihir really at the 3. But Gina Conti silences the crowd.
This UCLA team hit 16 3-pointers in their win over Tennessee in the Bahamas last week. And that's going to be a foul on Bessoir.
In order for South Carolina to get back in this game, they've got to turn up the defense, and having Letitia Mihir on the guards, on the perimeter, makes it really, really tough. I mean, it's a physical game right now. Top 15 matchup.
Yeah, this UCLA Bruin team off to their best start since 2019, facing the defending national champions. Cook driving in. Rebound into the hands of Osborne, and Kiki Rice is the outlet. Stopped! Camila Cardoso!
Camila Cardoso runs down the floor, does not give up on the play. Protect the possession, big girl. She did exactly that, sprinting the floor.
6th block of the season for Cardoso. That was a big one. Osborne hits the deck. Rice is going to pull it out and get the screen from Suntok. That's going to be a foul on me here. So UCLA has had their looks in the paint. They're outscoring South Carolina in the paint 14 to 12.
UCLA is using some ball screen action. There are breakdowns or miscommunication from South Carolina, and UCLA has had the ability to take advantage of that and get to the rim.
Kiki Rice at the line, McDonald's All-American. She was a co-MVP, the Gatorade National Player of the Year. Came in immediately, became a starter for UCLA.
With all those accolades, though, Corey Close said, this is the most humble person you will ever meet. All of those accolades, all the attention, and everything that she has earned, she's very humble about her success. The 2-3 zone, whenever it goes to Aaliyah Boston, she's like a magnet. Two players are attracted to her.
Letitia me here with the miss. Rebound by Beal. Aaliyah Boston will take it as the shot clock did not reset. She had to get the shot off quickly. And here comes Kiki Rice. The kick out to Osborne. Suntok. And Ami here was fouled by London Jones.
Ooh, that was a scary fall right there. Good to see Ami here get up. Tisha Ami here. But she was able to catch herself and jog off the floor. Remember, her senior year of high school, tore her ACL, actually enrolled at South Carolina early to work on her rehab there. Now playing without a knee brace, without anything, playing freely 100%. Good to see her get back up off the floor.
And plays with Team Canada, Tokyo Olympics. Kira Fletcher now in to run the point for South Carolina. They'll give it to Boston in the high post. Cardoso working down low on Suntok. And Suntok with the foul. That's going to be her second.
Here's what UCLA is doing. It is a box and one, but you know who that one is on? It's on Aaliyah Boston. So they have a guard that is staying with Aaliyah Boston when they go into the zone. You see Hawkins, she stays with Aaliyah Boston. The other four really zone up around the paint and really try to make it hard to get the ball inside to Boston.
Boston 1 for 3 from the field, and she will take a seat. Camila Cardoso at the free throw line for Carolina. This is the first. Next Monday, we're going to let you know a great ACC-SEC matchup here on the SEC Network. Diamond Battles leading 7-1 Georgia against Diamond Johnson, number 12 NC State. This one's at Stegman Coliseum in Athens, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app.
Down in Cancun, Georgia had to come back from a 20-point deficit, but they were able to knock off Big Ten Wisconsin or West Virginia.
Marquez to Bessoir. Working on Sanaya. Fagan goes over the top. UCLA shooting 53% from the field. They're on a 7-0 run. Fagan in and out. Rebound by Rice.
This UCLA defense, if you were ball side and your player goes away, you're staying in the paint to help.
Rice will start over with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Fagan crashing the glass. 3-minute scoring drought for the Gamecocks. Cardoso double team, finds herself under the basket, has to kick back out. And 3-second violation.
You notice whenever the ball goes in the paint, there are going to be two people on the recipient.
Well, South Carolina is a team that dominates in the paint. That's their bread and butter. They average 50 points in the paint a game.
50. I know, that's amazing.
5-0.
Right. And UCLA has really been able to do whatever they've wanted off ball screens. Chase, get a switch. Now they've got a big on a little.
And Osborne just shoots over her. It's a 10-0 run now for UCLA. Osborne's got 7.
That's what makes UCLA so good. All 5 players on the floor are threats, and they play within themselves in their role. And when you got a player like Charisma Osborne, you cannot let her see the basket.
UCLA's defense has given South Carolina a lot of problems tonight. Gamecock shooting just 33% from the field. Fletcher in and out. And a foul called on the floor. Second foul on Cameron Brown.
Charisma Osborne. There's a reason she leads this team in scoring. She recognized she has a big honor, so she takes a step back, even a few steps back behind the three-point line, and buries it.
Her 14th 3 of the season. That leads UCLA. So now Ashlyn Watkins in the game, number 2 in white for South Carolina. Sanaya Fagan at the free throw line. Look, South Carolina does have a lot of options on its bench that they can roll in and try different combinations.
And Dawn Staley has done that. She's gone with a lot of different combinations, trying to find how she can solve the equation of the zones and the changing of defenses by UCLA.
Yeah, South Carolina's bench accounts for 52% of its offense. Illegal screen. It was on Bren Maskowicz. Yeah, check out South Carolina's bench. 44 points per game. Last season, just 21 points per game off the bench.
That's 52% of the total offense for South Carolina. So that tells you the talent that South Carolina has sitting over in the reserve spot.
Kira Fletcher wanted that rebound. Went up in the middle of several blue jerseys. Another look for the Gamecocks, and it won't go. The scoring drought extends to almost 5 minutes.
Rebounding's about the only thing that's going to keep South Carolina in this thing right now if they're not making shots from the perimeter.
They say it went over the top of the backboard, so it's going to be South Carolina ball. UCLA shooting 50% from the field, and they lead Dawn Staley and the #1 team in the nation. This is an interesting matchup right here. UCLA, their defense has really been tough, but also they've been able to score in the paint on South Carolina.
And it's been guards that have had the ability to get a bite of the paint. They're doing it through cuts or taking it off the bounce. They are attacking inside. They're not afraid of the length of South Carolina, and they have gone straight to the rim against the Gamecocks.
UCLA outscoring South Carolina in the paint 14-12. They're also out-rebounding the Gamecocks, who are second in the nation in rebounds per game and rebounding margin.
What I'm seeing from South Carolina is the rule I learned from Pat Summitt. Actors win, reactors lose. And the actors are UCLA, especially off the ball screens. South Carolina is not dictating as far as what they're going to allow to UCLA to do. And when that's happening, they're chasing. You see Charisma Osborne is that rover in the middle. She's ready to help on anybody that comes in the paint, and then she's available to box out Victoria Saxton.
Bree Hall whistled for the foul as she was chasing Charisma Osborne down the court. Gina Conti over to Bessoir. And it's blocked by Ashlyn Watkins. It's happened a few times tonight for South Carolina.
The length of South Carolina, they've got to find, but not just rely on blocking shots, but when a defender is beat, the help rotating over, got to take away the look. Ashlyn Watkins, she's got springs in her legs. She can get up. She is only 6'3". She has a dunk on the season.
Only 6'3".
Oh, well.
Some of us would love to be 6 feet tall.
Oh, welcome. Oh, you want to be in my club?
Yeah.
You have to be this high at Disney World.
Aaliyah Boston back in the game for South Carolina. She's 1 for 3 tonight, 2 points, 2 rebounds. They've done a great job on her. How about that? Count the bucket.
Now, beforehand, Emily Bessoir caught, I believe, an elbow to the head as Aaliyah Boston was posting up. I think the officials may go to the monitor to take a look at this.
Bessoir appears to be okay. She's still standing up. No trainers looking at her over in the UCLA huddle. Yeah, they're going to the monitor to take a look.
Now, when Aaliyah Boston was posting up, I just believe that Emily Bessoir she had her head in there where Boston is posting up. And I don't think that it is excessive, but the officials are very careful in taking a look anytime there's contact above the shoulders. Oh, yeah, she caught it square. It looked across the forehead. I think it was a basic basketball move by Aaliyah Boston. I'd be surprised if they upgrade this.
Yeah, the first upgrade would be intentional, which is defined as unnecessary hard or excessive. Unnecessary excessive swinging, not a direct play on the ball.
That's what you teach post players to do, to have your elbows up. Now, it didn't come back. I don't feel like she extended it back, but to own your space, to have a big post up, and when two players are going against each other, I mean, there's going to be excessive movement, but it was a basketball play. And I also think Emily Bessoir, if you watch her top hand, she's trying to hold Aaliyah's arm and it slipped off. And when it slips off, it comes back and catches her across the face.
So they have switched out officials at the monitor. You can only have 2 officials at the monitor at a time. So all 3 have now taken a look at this. Some decision factors they're looking for: the severity of the contact, a wind-up, impact, follow-through, potential for injury. Those are some of the different criteria making a decision on whether they're going to upgrade a foul.
You watch Bessoir and Boston going at it. Now watch the top hand. She's got her arm hooked on the inside, Bessoir does, and then she's holding her arm. When it slips off of Aaliyah Boston's arm, the momentum of Boston trying to hold her spot catches Bessoir across the head. The officials are taking quite a while to come to a decision on this one.
They have stepped away from the monitor. So now they're going to ask for the coaches to come over. All right, so here's the explanation. We have an unobserved intentional foul on Aaliyah Boston. An intentional foul, some of the things they look for, unnecessary hard and or unnecessary excessive swinging. She will go ahead and shoot that one free throw that she got for the foul after hitting the shot. Then UCLA will shoot 2 shots. Anyone can shoot it, and UCLA will get the basketball.
I really didn't think that. I didn't think that it was intentional. Unobserved.
They didn't see it live.
Right. But I don't think, I thought it was a basketball play, but I'm a post player. So.
So Boston goes to the free throw line to shoot the and one shot. Bessoir still does get the personal foul that sent Boston to the line, so that is her second personal foul.
Yeah, I just, you know, when the defender is hanging on your arm and you're trying to free yourself, that kind of action is happening.
So the intentional does count as a personal foul on Boston.
So now UCLA gets the ball also.
Yeah, just for the record, 2 intentional fouls do result in disqualification. That is 1 on Aaliyah Boston in this game.
That was a great switch off defending the ball screen there between Aaliyah Boston and Zia Cook. Really stopped what UCLA has been able to get away with coming off that ball screen. The rotation's been late, and that's how they've been able to get layups. Aaliyah Boston, tremendous job on the switch with Zia Cook.
South Carolina had a 5+ minute scoring drought earlier in this quarter. They're down by 7 here to UCLA. Gamecocks have only scored 8 points here in the second quarter.
3 players around Aaliyah Boston down low.
Ashlyn Watkins. Osborne working on Fletcher. Dumps it over to Bessoir. She's short on the layup. The kick out to Osborne for 3. They'd rather have 3 points anyway.
That's a part of her game. That's when you see a play like that that shows you she is pro ready. She drove in. She made a terrific pass for the assist. It didn't happen. Then she spotted back out and then able to hit that dagger, knocking down the three. The handling of the basketball from Charisma Osborne and recognizing that Bussoir was coming through. On the miss, she spaces out, makes herself available, and then is efficient. You can count on her knocking down the three.
Ashlyn Watkins going to the free throw line. Osborne was called for her first foul. Saxton puts it up and in for two. And now the crowd gets into it. That'll do it too. Aaliyah Boston with a block.
The second effort by Victoria Saxton. I know Don Staley's happy to have her back because she's going to give you that effort there, not giving up on the shot. And then defensively on the other end, Aaliyah Boston now making her presence felt defensively for the Gamecocks.
Well, that's what you have to do. If your shots aren't falling, you got to keep going in other areas. Defense, rebounding. Conti the step back and lets it fly. Watkins has it. Fletcher at the SEC logo.
Can South Carolina put two stops together, back to back?
Osborne rejects the screen, kicks back to Bussoir. Scramble on the floor for the ball. Possession arrow pointing to UCLA. Well, here's the next Out of Pocket with Alyssa Lang and Andrea Carter. They'll take you inside the world of SEC sports with laid-back, fun interviews, lots of laughs, and, of course, Lang's signature passion for finding the best food the SEC has to offer. It's tomorrow at a special time, 9:15 Eastern, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. London Jones in, setting up the play for the Bruins. They've made one of their last 7 shots. Hard to shoot a three over Aaliyah Boston. Runner too much on it. And here comes Fletcher out with the basketball up ahead to Cook. Offensive foul on Zaya Cook.
Kiki Rice, the number 2 signee in the country. Reed Zaya Cook trying to come hard with that left hand. She establishes correct defensive position and is able to draw the charge on Zaya Cook.
UCLA led 16-13 at the end of the first quarter. Their largest lead tonight has been 10. Boston, yes! She has had to work hard tonight. That's 6 points for Aaliyah. Just about a 10-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Osborne, the kick out to Hawkes, it's short.
The heads-up play of Kiera Fletcher. You watch. Bree Hall finds her. Fletcher knows right away where Aaliyah Boston is. No second thought about it. Got the ball inside. Go get the big 2.
Olivia Thompson checks into the game. She is a shooter for South Carolina.
Remember, Olivia Thompson came in against Stanford and hit a big 3.
Cook will pull it back and wait for time. Driving in high off the window, misses. Fletcher is blocked, and South Carolina won't get a bucket before the half. UCLA has led by as many as 10 points in this first half, and they've taken a lead into the locker room on the road against the #1 team in the nation. South Carolina does end the half on a 6-0 run, but UCLA on top 31-27. Let's get you back to the studio with Alyssa. Back inside Colonial Life Arena, Courtney Lyle, Carolyn Peck. UCLA made it really difficult on Aaliyah Boston. What were they doing?
They changed up the defenses, but the one constant was they were going to put 2 people on Aaliyah Boston anytime she was going to try to score in any way. Whether it's on the post-up, there's going to be a rotation of 2 or 3 players. On an offensive rebound, your job has got to be to try to keep Boston off the glass, and if she gets the rebound, going to have 2 around her. But it was difficult all night for anything so far to get to Aaliyah Boston. The offense has got to move. The body's got to move, ball's got to move a little better.
Now, we saw the 2 top 5 projected draft picks that we have in the first half. Charisma Osborne, she had 12 points, shot 50% from the field.
And Aaliyah Boston, Charisma Osborne did a good job of picking her poison, whether it was to attack in or with the defense when it had to sag and rotate in, then she was available and knocked down that 3-point shot.
UCLA led by as many as 10 points in the first half. Aaliyah Boston only took 1 shot in the first quarter. She's got 6 points.
Right away, you see how far off Kiki Rice is playing off Kiera Fletcher. She's going to double and try to help, but that time before the help could be there, Aaliyah Boston just went ahead and scored.
Immediately, first pass, they go to Boston, the reigning National Player of the Year.
Isn't that where you would go?
Yeah, all day. It's been hard to get there, though. She's been covered up. Bessoir on the board, stopped by Boston. Back into the hands of UCLA, and Gina Conti will set things up. Off the screen from Bessoir. The 3, swish!
UCLA can play 5 out. They've got threats in 4 of the 5 positions, and then Cameron Brown, she will be cleanup woman. She works hard on the glass, number 35 in blue.
10th three-pointer for Emily Bessoir, first of the game. Saxton on Cameron Brown, offensive foul on Victoria Saxton. Cameron Brown, she's one of those players, she does the little things on the court.
The defense one-on-one on Victoria Saxton. The other 4 players don't have any idea where the basketball is for UCLA. Their job is not allow the ball to come inside to Boston.
First foul on Saxton. Conti with room to drive. It'll stay with the Bruins. This UCLA team comes in their best start since 2019. They started the season unranked for the first time since 2015, but they have played their way into being the 15th team in the nation. Woo! Kiki Rice. That's a freshman.
She has come in with such great maturity. Tremendous poise on the floor.
We were talking about her game at shoot-around, Carolyn. I know you love, she can go left hand, right hand with confidence.
Equally, yeah, you can't say for this freshman on Kiki Rice, take away your right hand, take away her left hand. She is versatile enough and savvy enough to find seams in the defense, find her opportunity, and take full advantage.
She's played the 2nd most minutes this season for UCLA. One of 2 players in double figures, her and Charisma Osborne. Kiera Fletcher with the 3 for the Gamecocks, their 2nd tonight. The 2, excuse me.
Well, as much as Kiki Rice is playing off Kiera Fletcher, Fletcher's going to have to score.
Fletcher has 6. Osborne in the paint, working on Beal. Banks it in.
Charisma Osborne, throughout her career, I think she was overshadowed first couple of years she played with Michaela Onyenwere, who is now playing for the New York Liberty. Then she had some injuries. But Osborne is a bucket waiting to happen.
Hey, back-to-back buckets for Fletcher.
Fletcher transferring in from Georgia Tech. She's got maturity, and her experience is what has helped her win that starting nod for the Gamecocks.
And it's been Fletcher and Raven Johnson who have been going back and forth. They'll rotate in at the point guard position, both on a minutes restriction coming off those injuries. Foul was on Fletcher, and it sends Charisma Osborne to the line. You know, after their last game, their win against Jackson State, Kiki Rice, the freshman, was asked about Charisma Osborne. What impresses you the most about your veteran? She said she plays both ends with the same intensity, and she can do it so good, playing defense and on offense.
She just brings that competitive spirit. Corey Close has talked about how she has loved coaching Osborne because of how hard she plays. She knows the game. You watch her communicate on the floor. She's got a toughness about her.
Cardoso double team, passes out of it across to Cook. Driving short. Count the bucket. Well, they're going to wipe the bucket off. It happened before, and it is on. It's on Osborne. Her third. That was on the floor, happened before the shot went in for Cardoso.
Now to see how UCLA can continue the offensive flow that they've had with Osborne on the bench. UCLA is going to make South Carolina prove that they can consistently hit that face-up jumper.
7 seconds. Cook elevates. In and out, it stays with South Carolina. Cook was tipped from behind. Suntalk up ahead to Kiki Rice. Blocked by Boston. Gamecocks 0 for their last 4.
Suntalk is the roamer now, rotating in, playing off of Rebuild.
And that foul is going to be on Suntalk. That's her third. So Suntalk and Osborne both with 3 fouls right now for UCLA. Cameron Brown is at the table to check in. She's going to replace Lena.
South Carolina can use Bree Bill as a screener. If Suntalk is going to help inside, then let Bree Bill go set ball screens. Right, because Suntalk's down in the paint, so setting a ball screen, then allowing Zaya Cook's really good off mid-range jumper, just coming off the screen as soon as she's open. She's trying to get too far in the lane with her scoring. Just got to shoot it when that window opens.
Getting a little loud in CLA.
Watch number 1 in blue, Kiki Rice, the freshman.
Conti has stopped driving in. Charisma Osborne is waiting to check in at the table. Their leading scorer stays with the Gamecocks. So Osborne back in, does come back in with those 3 fouls, but she's leading UCLA with 15 points on 50% shooting.
Well, Corey Close has got to rotate to keep fresh bodies on the floor, even though Osborne's got those 3 fouls.
There's going to be a foul on Kiki Rice, her first.
They're going to run the elevator again.
Boston's covered up. Fletcher takes it.
UCLA is going to have to adjust their defense now. Fletcher's hit a couple. Got to take another step closer. Otherwise, they're going to roll the dice and see how many of those she could score.
Rice off the glass, and a little spunk afterwards, and the steal! Back the other way! Gabriela Hawkes misses the layup. Cook up and in!
Dawn Staley throws her hands up like that's what she's been looking for.
Kiki Rice saw an opening. She will take it, and she's going to the free throw line. 14 points for the freshman Kiki Rice.
UCLA has the benefit of having the #1 recruiting class in the country, and a lot of it has to do with that woman right there. #1 in blue, Kiki, do you love me? UCLA says yes. UCLA has a player that's nice, and her name is Kiki Rice. She is a freshman that has come into her freshman season not playing like one. She's taken on the #1 team in the nation and has shown no hesitation, no shyness, no fear. She has come to compete. And so far today, she has
14 points.
14 points already, 6 of 10 from the floor.
Now, the Gatorade National Player of the Year, the co-MVP of the McDonald's All-American game, a multi-sport athlete in high school soccer and basketball, and she wants to be an NBA general manager someday.
I was watching some of the footage on her that UCLA has as she was preparing to come to UCLA. You're going to like this, Courtney.
Ooh, okay.
She's also a cook.
Oh, I do like that.
And she gets her recipes off TikTok.
Oh, fun.
Fun fact.
Love that.
She said since she's been in college, she hasn't had much time to cook. But when I ask her about it, big smile. That's something she really enjoys doing.
And her last name is Rice.
I cannot with you right now.
I'm just saying. Well, UCLA has led most of this game. They led going into the locker room at halftime. They led by as many as 10 points tonight. Kiki Rice is a big part of that, going coast to coast, a little bit short. Got her own rebound back into the hands of Kiera Fletcher, who has been huge for South Carolina in this third quarter. She has 8 points in the quarter.
South Carolina allowing UCLA to get their defense set. They're just making it tough on themselves. South Carolina likes to score in the paint, but that's where the defense is. If they can get it into a running game, that would be more beneficial for the Gamecocks.
Bessoir can't get over Cardoso. And Boston's going to bring it up.
Oh, with the Euro step!
Wow! Okay, I'll handle the ball.
The ball handling's one thing, the Euro step.
Smooth.
That was beautiful.
#1 pick in the WNBA draft.
Oh, no question.
Blocked by Bree Beal. And South Carolina throws it away. We got to roll this Euro step back.
Just talked about South Carolina scoring before the defense gets back. Cameron Brown stood there to take the charge, but Aaliyah Boston, how about the footwork? Footwork, big girl, Euro step. Nice in the finish.
You know, last summer, not this past one, the year before, she worked with Tim Duncan, and they talked about patience. Did you see her patience on that play?
Oh, absolutely. Not trying to force, not out of control, body control.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he talked to her about was being aware of where you are on the floor. She did that play.
Very aware. Another rejection by Aaliyah. And Corey Close calls timeout. South Carolina has cut the lead to 1. Colonial Life getting some energy in here. Well, we've got you covered on Conference Championship Saturday with a 4-hour pregame before LSU and Georgia square off at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. It starts at noon Eastern, and then after the game, be sure to head back to the SEC Network for a full game breakdown, interviews with players and coaches, and of course, you can always watch it on the ESPN app if you're out and about. UCLA has led for over 21 minutes in this game. The Bruins 0-18 all-time versus the #1 team in the nation. South Carolina making a push, though, here. Gamecocks #1, they're undefeated just like UCLA is on the young season.
Got some UCLA royalty in the house. Melena Martin, Natalie Williams, and Natalie Nakasa all played at UCLA. They're sitting courtside, came in with the team, trying to see if they can break that streak of 0-18 versus #1.
UCLA has not scored in over 2 minutes. Osborne, this is a 2, and it's off. Cardoso above everybody. Zaya Cook running the point. We saw them go to this, putting Cook at the point in the Stanford game late, and they feel like it settled them down offensively.
Well, they got a huge front court, too. You have Aaliyah Boston running the 3, Victoria Saxon at the 4, and Camila Cardoso at the 5.
Zaya Cook right around Cameron Brown. The Euro step contagious. First lead for South Carolina since the 9:32 mark in the second quarter. Offensive foul. It's on Zontak.
Zaya Cook, since she has arrived in Columbia, South Carolina, big moments, making big plays. But that Euro step, beautiful. You think they work on this? Is this a Euro step drill the Gamecocks use? It doesn't matter whether you're post or guard, everybody's got it in the back pocket.
A 6-0 run for the Gamecocks. Cook heavily guarded by London Jones, and she forces the turnover.
That's a freshman, number 3. London Jones, though, a pesky, small defender. When you need a stop, an on-ball defender, Corey Close can go to number 3.
Yeah, London Jones out of Riverside, California. Both of her older sisters played Division I basketball. She played USA basketball with Kiki Rice, her fellow freshman at UCLA. The 3 drops in for Bessoir. Gamecocks with a big lineup on the floor. Ami here at the point. Gives it back to her, can't finish through the contact. Cardoso can.
South Carolina goes for the big lineup right now in this time because of exactly that. Got options. You'll have 4 people that can go to the glass.
Just the second time we've been tied tonight.
Watch the pick and pop. Emily Bessoir with Osborne.
UCLA can't hang on. Ami here has Hall ahead of her. Conti out with the rebound, heaves it up. Talk about scrapping towards the end of the quarter. We go to the fourth quarter with a tie ball game in Columbia. Top 15 battle. I don't think it's disappointed so far tonight, Coach Beck.
Tied up going into the fourth. This is what you want.
The third quarter was the first time that South Carolina outscored UCLA in a quarter tonight. They did it 20-16. What adjustments have you seen for South Carolina?
The game sped up, and South Carolina was able to create offense off their defense, able to score before UCLA could get set up in that zone where they were clogging the paint so much.
Defensively, too, they were able to slow the Bruins down. UCLA won for its last 7.
Letitia Me here, Bree Hall really turned up the intensity, getting into passing lanes. Aaliyah Boston controlling the paint, as well as Cardoso and Kiera Fletcher. UCLA playing off of her. She stepped in, didn't settle for just the 3, hit the short jumper. And so that's when Bree Bill comes in. She's got to do the same thing. If they're playing off of her, it doesn't have to be a 3. Step in, take a high percentage shot, make the defense have to inch out of the paint.
Kiera Fletcher had 8 of her 12 points in the third quarter. It's her first game of the season in double figures. London Jones rejected by Cardoso.
The key for South Carolina is going to be defending the ball screens of UCLA. In that first quarter, UCLA was getting what they wanted. It got a little better in the second, third. The defense was huge. The intensity on the defensive side for South Carolina has gone to another level.
A 5-second call, that'll be a turnover by UCLA. You mentioned South Carolina's defense. They have 13 blocks.
Well, early on, UCLA wanted to come in the paint. How do you get somebody to stop coming in the paint? You got to block shots.
Turnover. And Kiki Rice gets herself to the free throw line. This freshman has been so impressive. 15 points. Her and Charisma Osborne leading the Bruins with 15 apiece.
From the first game of the season and each game moving forward, you can see Kiki Rice calculating how to play this level of basketball. And the game has slowed down. She has become more and more efficient every game.
She was 4 for 4 from the free throw line before that, but UCLA with another chance. Cameron Brown lets it fly from the corner. Do you like Zia Cook running the point for South Carolina?
I do.
Why?
Well, Zia Cook is a player that likes to have and needs to have the ball in her hands, being able to make some decisions. I think that when she feels like she's got some sort of control, that helps the game slow down for her.
That was the one position they lost from last year when it comes to their starting lineup. Destiny Henderson going to the WNBA. So we've seen 4 different players run the point, Zia Cook being one of them, along with Letitia Me here, and really it's been mostly Kiera Fletcher and Raven Johnson.
To have options at the point guard spot is a double-edged sword, a good thing and a bad thing. When you've got to make decisions, most successful teams know who their point guard is going to be, and that gives you a lot of comfort. When you're still trying to settle into that position, sometimes that can leave some unanswered questions.
Cook misses from the corner. She's 1 for 4 from long range tonight. Osborne in traffic. Fletcher looking up ahead to Cardoso, kicks to the corner for Zaya Cook. And Camila Cardoso helps her out.
Cardoso has given South Carolina some big moments, whether it be a key rebound, a good putback, and one. And that was a heads-up play of recognizing as she's running in transition without drawing the charge, the kick out.
Foul on Kiera Fletcher as Osborne was going up for the basket. That's going to be her third. UCLA has led for 23 minutes tonight. Now, they have never beaten the #1 team in the nation. They took a lead into the locker room at halftime, but were outscored in the third quarter 20-16. Came into the fourth, tied up at 47.
And Charisma Osborne is playing with 3 fouls. She's done a good job of playing very disciplined to be able to stay on the floor. Now the defense is all spread out. Now, there you can get the ball inside. Got to recognize as soon as all 5 defenders space out, that's the opportunity to throw it to the rim.
Osborne asking for the screen. 8 seconds, rolls over to Rice. 5 seconds for Kiki Rice. Zaya Cook is stopped by Suntalk.
But you can tell South Carolina is really trying to push before the defense gets set. Aaliyah Boston's going to have to be careful pushing off.
And Boston's going to the free throw line. That should be the 5th on Lena Suntalk.
Suntalk and Aaliyah Boston tied up and then decides to take it herself. Conti rotates over. Suntalk called for the charge, or called for the blocking foul.
Yeah, that's her 5th. So Emily Bessoir comes back in with Aaliyah Boston at the free throw line.
Now with Emily Bessoir in the game for UCLA, they can run a lot of pick and pop action because Bessoir is a threat from the 3-point line.
She's hit 2 tonight. Boston gets 1 of 2, but the rebound to LA.
Cameron Brown now has the responsibility of guarding Aaliyah Boston. That wasn't a lot of contact right there. I don't know about that one.
It's the 3rd foul on Brown. Cardoso misses. Crowd wanted a carrying call. Bessoir hit up into the air, back into her hands. Conti takes over now.
Letitia Me here, 6'3", defending on the perimeter. Nice defense.
Osborne had to take that. Shot clock was winding down. Cook with the pull-up. Puts Zaya Cook in double figures. Gamecocks back in the lead.
Now Charisma Osborne. She's a production for UCLA. Number 20 needs a touch.
5 seconds on the shot clock. Conti. And that's 2 times in a row South Carolina has forced UCLA to take a deep, deep three.
And Charisma Osborne didn't touch it. She is their leading scorer, third leading scorer in the Pac-12. Number 20's got to get some looks.
Don Staley told us in the scout for UCLA, Charisma Osborne is the first and second scoring option for the Bruins.
And she knew that South Carolina would have to make them go to option 3.
Wow, Cardoso has been a putback machine.
Sometimes a shot for South Carolina is as good as an assist with the length that they have to create second chance opportunities.
South Carolina 9th in the nation in second chance, in offensive rebounds, giving them second chance points. UCLA led by as many as 10. They've led the majority of this game, and now South Carolina has taken it back. The defense has turned up 2. Cameron Brown driving in. That ends a 3-minute and 30 scoring drought for the Bruins. And Don Staley wants to take a timeout. Under 4 minutes to play. South Carolina in a battle.
Put the ball in the hands of Zaya Cook. As you're trying to make a run toward the end of the game, knocking it down and playing cleanup. Camila Cardoso on the backside, offensive rebound has South Carolina up by 2. We talked about bench production. Well, Camila Cardoso has come in for the Gamecocks and done exactly that. She's got 5 offensive rebounds. She has been active and been productive using her length inside to score buckets. That's really been another asset to help the Gamecocks take this 2-point lead.
Yeah, we told you South Carolina's bench accounts for 52% of their total offense, and you see what Cardoso has done coming into this game, not as one of those starters, but coming off the bench. 10 points in the second half. She's got 12 for the game, one of 3 players for South Carolina in double figures. Meanwhile, UCLA has missed 13 of its last 15 field goals over 10-plus minutes. Went into the fourth quarter tied at 47 all.
This is going to be a nail-biter all the way down the stretch. It's going to be a battle. You've got contrasting teams. You have UCLA, who is a team that has a fluid offense going against the South Carolina team that hangs their hat on defense.
Emily Bessoir called for her 3rd foul. Alina Zontak, who has been battling in there with Aaliyah Boston, has fouled out of the game. UCLA now with 3 players on the floor with 3 fouls.
Aaliyah Boston doesn't look like the ankle injury that she had against Hampton really has slowed her down.
No, and that was 2 days ago. That was
right.
Sunday.
Yeah.
"13 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 blocks for Aaliyah Boston.
Conti is so quick off the dribble and deceptive because you don't know if she's going to score or going to create for somebody else.
Me here throws it up to the hot hand. It's Cardoso. A season high for Camila Cardoso, 14 points. Monty pulls up and dishes it to Kiki Rice. Cameron Brown on the glass.
Aaliyah Boston, so smart, called Zaya Cook off from guarding Emily Bussoir.
South Carolina's defense has really turned up in the fourth quarter. That's at least the third late shot clock that UCLA's had to jack up a deep three. Foul inside, Cameron Brown. That's the fourth on her.
Corey Close disagrees. I think Dee Cantor is trying to explain that Cameron Brown may have displaced, but there's been a lot more contact than happened on that play for that to be called.
Zaya Cook on the hunt. Off of the hands of Ami here. It'll be UCLA ball.
One of the things that Zaya Cook said that she has learned a lot from Dawn Staley is moving on to next play. So she's got to let that miss, let it go, and go on, work on it defensively, because she's got her hands full with this freshman, Kiki Rice.
And Rice has 16 points, 5 rebounds. Cardoso whistled for the foul. Second on Cardoso.
So on the next foul, both teams will be in the bonus. Doesn't play well for South Carolina. They have not shot the free throws very well so far in this early part of the season.
Yeah, tonight just 54% from the free throw line. Another late shot clock for UCLA. Charisma Osborne creating. No.
Now South Carolina can take their time. UCLA, they've either got to steal or they've got to try to speed up the game.
That's going to be a technical foul called on Kiki Rice. She reacted slamming the ball down after she was whistled for the personal foul.
A little frustration from the freshman. Kiki Rice thought that she'd gotten away with the steal. Just got to stay composed in these tight situations.
So that will be a personal foul, 2 personal fouls assessed to Kiki Rice. So that brings her total to 3. That should count towards the team foul total as well.
So now South Carolina will be going to the free throw line every foul after. Are you aware of what just happened? So Letitia,
So Letitia Ami here gets to shoot 2 because South Carolina's now in the bonus, and then they'll get to put Aaliyah Boston at the free throw line to shoot the 2 fouls for the technical. 6 straight points for South Carolina. And that's going to be the 4th on Kiki Rice. So the 4th foul on Kiki Rice.
It was a costly mistake by the freshman. Just a little frustration when she got the steal, got called for the foul, and compounded the mistake with another mistake.
Foul called on Camila Cardoso. Well, UCLA came out defensively, and they knew they were going to make it tough for South Carolina in the paint. This is a South Carolina team that averages 50 paint points a game, and early on in this ball game, they were struggling to even get a touch inside.
The zone of UCLA was such a problem. And a rover, and anywhere that Aaliyah Boston was, 2 people were really, there was a Boston sandwich. And 2 people around her. They were not going to let anything come inside. But that 3rd quarter, Kiera Fletcher was key, because that was one of the players that UCLA was playing off, and she hit some jumpers. And the defense then from UCLA started to expand and become further and further out. And the defense for South Carolina started to turn up, and they were able to score before UCLA could get that defense set.
Charisma Osborne got popped in the mouth. Cardoso up ahead with the lay-in. Adding to her season high, she's now at 16. Under a minute to go. South Carolina trailed by as many as 10 tonight, and now they lead by 10. Foul on me here.
We already talked about the free throws. South Carolina is shooting 63% from the floor, so it's got to become a free throw. It's got to be a free throw shooting contest. If UCLA can score right here, as soon as the ball is inbounded, they've got to foul South Carolina and put them at the free throw line.
Both teams in the bonus, so a foul for either results in free throws. Both teams with 3 timeouts. Two free throws for Osborne. So South Carolina calls this timeout. And they've advanced the basketball as well.
Because you don't want to, as much as you can, avoid taking the ball out from underneath your own opponent's basket. Now, what UCLA's got to try to do is they've got to try to get a 5-second count. They've got to try to get any kind of turnover possibly they can. And you can even try to get South Carolina called for an offensive foul going through screens, but you've got to get a stop. And if South Carolina, and if you don't, right away you got to foul.
Yeah.
You can't wait. You can't have a lot of time come off the clock and wait for a shot and then put them at the free throw line, go down the other way, try to get a quick score. They don't need a 3 right away. If they can get a stop here and get a steal turnover, just go hard to the basket. Get an opportunity, get to the free throw line.
No fouls to give for either team, both in the bonus. South Carolina now with 2 timeouts. They did call timeout and advance the ball, so Letitia Ami here will inbound in front of South Carolina's bench.
UCLA have an interceptor, do everything they can to not allow the ball to come in. Now that it does, you got to foul. You can't allow time to come off the clock. Got to foul.
Corey Close is asking for the foul, telling her team to foul, and they have not yet.
Yeah, you have to foul immediately, let a lot of time go off the clock. And you got to foul. Especially with South Carolina shooting just 63% from the free throw line, I'd foul right away. I would try to stretch this game out as long as possible. It looked as if South Carolina, they were going for the steal, getting a trap and a steal, but you have got to look. You don't have that much time on the clock. If the clock's ticking, you got to go ahead and foul right now, put them to the free throw line.
UCLA didn't foul. It cost them 16 seconds of game time.
And South Carolina has shown its resiliency. They did the same thing, similar with against Stanford. They were down, had to come back. That one went to overtime.
But they were down 12 in that game. UCLA has not had a field goal in over 3 minutes. Up and in and to the line, Charisma Osborne, but only 22 seconds remain.
Osborne attacking the basket, little shot fake, gets the call on Bree Bill.
Osborne with her 6th 20-plus point game this season. She's got 23, this season. She's also 9 of 10 from the free throw line tonight.
Will Don Staley call a timeout?
They're going to sub in Kiki Rice. And Don Staley will call the timeout and advance the ball once again.
And UCLA
got a foul? Yeah, immediately.
Yeah, you got a foul right away. Try to even draw a charge. But you cannot allow another 16 seconds to go off the clock. UCLA, as soon as the ball comes in, you got a foul. Got a foul right away. South Carolina has got to be extremely careful and make sure that they do get the ball in. And I throw the ball towards your own basket. Sometimes teams want to throw it in the back court from relief pressure. You don't want to throw it toward UCLA's court. And you're better off if you throw it out of bounds even, throwing it down on the end line.
Gotta get it in. And this time UCLA does immediately foul.
South Carolina wanted it getting the ball into the hands of Aaliyah Boston. That's a sure person to catch the ball, but Boston so far in the season only shooting 61% from the free throw line.
Well, Kiki Rice has fouled out of the game. 19.9 seconds left. Aaliyah Boston will go to the free throw line. Kiki Rice will take a seat. 16 points, 5 rebounds. This is a freshman to watch for sure.
Throughout this season in her career, she is something special. And more I watch her today, she has a little bit of aerial powers to her game from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Might even put a little Ariel Atkins to see her a little more consistent from the three-point line, but she defends. She's tough.
Nine-point lead for the Gamecocks. UCLA will call timeout, and they will advance the ball. It'll be inbound on the opposite side of the floor.
Now, UCLA is a three-point shooting team. and they can go for threes. That's a high percentage shot for them. So when they get the ball in, they've got to look at the first opportunity possible to score it. Now, if they don't have the three, go hard to the basket, get the two, and again, they got a foul right away.
Osborne is on the floor. You would think she would be someone they would want to get the ball to, one of their best shooters, their leading scorer, 24 points for her tonight.
Well, you also have Gina Conti. You've got Gabriela Jaquez.
And Beswara, who's got 2 threes tonight. But she's the inbounder.
Like, all 5. Really, Cameron Brown's not a true three-point shooter, but you can use her as a screener.
You got to take it quickly.
You do. Well, you've got your first available score quickly.
Yeah.
I would look for the 3. If it's not there, go quick to the 2.
Beswara in the corner, tries to dribble and create space. This will be short. Foul on the floor.
So Zaya Cook gets called on the box out. So now UCLA gets to go to the free throw line to shoot 2. Cook underneath with Jaquez.
On the box out, called for her 3rd. Jaquez misses. Gets 1 of 2.
I got a foul.
And they do immediately. Jaquez fouls Zaya Cook. .8 seconds left. This has been another battle for South Carolina. They had to fight from being down by 12 against Stanford, the number 2 team in the nation. And then UCLA has played it tough tonight with some young pieces too.
And I think that part of that youth versus the maturity of South Carolina played into tonight's game. And I was down in the Bahamas, and Bill Self talked about Kansas and his team and the different teams that they play in the competitions in this part of the pre-conference season. And you want to play different styles because what you're doing right now is going to prepare you for March and April. And I think this has been great experience for UCLA. They led the majority of the game. And for South Carolina to have to battle and play from behind. These freshmen from UCLA, they're going to grow up throughout this season, and so they're not going to have to wait till sophomores to advance, I think, to play later in March. I think the experience that they're going to get throughout finishing the non-conference and then going through conference, this is going to be a team to reckon with once we get to the NCAA tournament.
So UCLA did call timeout. They did advance the basketball with 12.4 seconds left. What did you see from South Carolina in the fight back in this game?
It took a while for them to problem solve, but they didn't hang their heads. The sign of maturity, too, when the team, they're going to play off of you. You're going to make you prove that you make shots, but not do like I saw South Carolina do a couple of years ago. I believe it was against NC State, where they just settled for threes. You don't, when they're playing off, you don't have to hit threes. You can hit the mid-range jumpers, and they made that adjustments. And the thing that South Carolina always has is their defense. Their defense is going to always keep them in ball games.
I was going to say, too, they didn't let their offense affect other aspects of their game. They still played hard defensively. They still rebounded the basketball. Conti throws up the 3 in and out, and she is fouled by Ami here.
Look at Donna. Look at Donna Staley. I want you to take a look at her. She is not happy with that foul.
So that's 3 shots for Conti. An 80% free throw shooter.
Yeah, UCLA is hanging in there.
One more coming.
Don said she's not calling timeout.
She missed it. Boston is fouled with 3.4. I think because the opponent missed 2 free throws in the fourth quarter, the fans get a free
sandwich.
Yeah. It's 2 in the fourth quarter, I believe.
Or is it 2 in a row?
I think on the same trip to the free throw line. Yeah.
Do we get a sandwich too?
Boston only had 1 shot attempt in the first quarter, but she has finished with another double-double, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists.
What I saw from Aaliyah Boston tonight was not only is she a dominant player, but a tremendous leader. She did not allow her team to get frustrated with the defense that UCLA was bringing. It was a little tricky to find and maneuver some offense for South Carolina, but Aaliyah Boston and the rest of her team, they found a way.
Her 5th double-double of the season, the 65th of her career. And Corey Close is going to call timeout and advance the ball.
These fans aren't happy with it, but they have to understand Corey Close has got 5 freshmen on her team, and she is using this opportunity to continue to teach. So she's going to advance the basketball. They could be in the NCAA tournament in March and have a situation where there's only 2.8 seconds left on the clock. How will you handle that situation? You don't want it to be brand new. And when you have an opportunity to practice it, you do so. Now, it's less than 3 seconds. The only thing you have is a tap.
No, that's 0.3.
0.3.
It's 2.8, so they can shoot.
Oh, it's 2.8.
Yes.
They can catch and shoot.
Yes.
Now, well, Corey Close, she can run that to Charisma Osborne. You've got London Jones who can shoot the 3. Gina Conti can do it as well. But Charisma Osborne, she's had a fantastic night. 64 points.
We're 24.
Did I say 64? 24 points. Thank you.
24 of UCLA's 64. And Osborne will take the deep 3. South Carolina experience and veterans paying off, coming back from trailing by 10 points in this game to beat another ranked opponent. 17 straight wins over ranked opponents, and South Carolina beats UCLA 73-64.
And South Carolina did what they normally do. They played tough defense. They really tightened up defensively. They got on the glass, and they went to work, figured out to find ways to score in the paint.
Aaliyah Boston, Kiera Fletcher with double-doubles tonight to help South Carolina on the comeback. They win 73-64. We'll get you to the studio. Dawn Staley will be joining the studio crew in just a moment.
All right, let's get back out to Columbia, South Carolina, where we're joined by the head coach of the Gamecocks, Coach Dawn Staley. Coach, thank you so much for giving us a few minutes of your time after this one. Your ladies are down at the break, but they come back in the second half. What did you say to them at halftime?
Simplify. I mean, just simplify. We made the game really hard. If we made layups, I think it would have been a different result in the first half. Not saying that we would have blown them out by any means, because that, you know, UCLA is a really, really, really well-coached, good team, and they're only going to get better because they're young. You know, they got Osborne is, you know, she can score, and smart. We escaped with a really good win. I don't think we win if it's any other place than Colonial Life Arena.
Well, they made it hard on you guys in the final minute of that game, calling a couple of timeouts, making you guys adjust to what they were doing. What did those adjustments look like in those final 60 seconds to try to hold on to the lead that you guys had?
Well, I mean, they were setting up their scorers for great looks, and we bit the bullet a time or two when we're fouling. We have to be better in late game situations. It's a great opportunity for us to learn. We're going to watch a lot of film and break it down to see where we can get better. But we got the win, and it's against a quality opponent.
Coach, a couple of ranked wins so far for your program already this season. Who on your roster from the beginning of the season to now would you say has impressed you the most? Who has come along, and who has still a higher ceiling to maybe reach this year?
Yeah, I'm going to put that juju on Camilla. Camilla's got to perform at a high level for us. We need that. We need that kind of effort every time she steps on the floor, and I'm gonna be disciplined in making sure that she gives us that in practice, so she can have these performances in a game, because it'll alleviate some pressure that that's put on Aaliyah to be doubled and triple teamed. It's a lot, but she got off that load management day yesterday. And perform for us today.
Well, she looked great out there for sure. Coach, as you go back to the tape from this one and look ahead to your next game, what do you think some of the things that you'll focus on in practice will be over the next few days?
Well, for us, we got to be better decision makers. Some of the turnovers, we didn't have very many, but the times that we did turn the ball over, they're live ball turnovers. They're coming back and putting us back on our heels in transition. Once we get our half-court defense set, I think we do a pretty good job. So just taking care of the basketball. We're still just trying to get to know each other. The spot that, we still are spotty in is our point guard position. I thought Kiara Fletcher played great today. I thought she got a little bit tired. We played her a lot of minutes, more minutes than she's ever played. So she got a little tired by the end of the game. But, she put us in a position to take the lead and to build some momentum offensively.
Well, Coach, you looked great in the second half. You sound great. Always great to get to catch up with you. Hope we'll get to talk to you again soon. Congrats on the win.
Thank you, Gamecock.